Thank you to Professor Fortson. I am very happy to see the university taking interest in tribal courts. One of the things that we lack is some information. I kind of refer to it as the hidden sister court for Alaska that's, from what we can tell, is holding up the state of Alaska's justice system, believe it or not. I know that's a provocative idea, but if tribal courts and tribes weren't providing the support to our families and just removed themselves, decided they wanted to go and do something else today, there would be a crushing weight on the state of Alaska's justice system that I don't think it could tolerate. So it's funny, it's this kind of silent partner of justice for Alaska that's becoming revealed. And so I wish you luck in your work and everything that everyone does here. And I'm so happy to see our brothers and sisters in arms of justice from the state of Alaska here. And that's a testament to this conference and the change that's happening. I know I talk about this every year, but it really is. And it's happening not in inches or millimeters with what most change happens. It's actually leaps and bounds of what's going on year to year to year. So it's really helpful to have this conference every year so that we can take the temperature of our state, because I know we don't want the glaciers melting too fast, but at least the ice between tribes in the state of Alaska is melting at a phenomenal rate. And so I feel blessed to be alive to watch this. My poor mentor, David Case, he's already retired. I'm wiping his chin for him. You know, if he could see what's going on, and I know he's following it from afar while he's paddling in Hawaii. Anyway, very briefly, my name's Judge V. Like I said yesterday, I'm super honored to be here. I have had the blessing of working with tribes now for 20 some odd years, and right now I get to sit. My favorite job in the world is I'm sitting judge for the Central Council in Juneau. Oh, very quickly, I've been very happy that everyone's been kind of introducing their new friends here. I feel like us old hands, we've been coming to this conference for so long, it's like the Grateful Dead. You know, people are out in the hallway, which one is this for you, number 4? You know, so I don't know, I've got ticket stubs for like 10 years for Lisa's conference here. And so we just assume we know each other. There's Renee, there's Kevin, you know, we've got Pat now in the house. But it's really nice to me, and I know there's a lot of Panim Chadashim, new faces here. So that's part of what we were talking about yesterday, that leaders don't want followers, they want more leaders. And I think it's a testament that you're going home and you're pollinating the flowers in your community. You're finding those young people. I see some awesome new faces here, even old hands that you know are so wise, and you know, pull them in. We need as many troops as possible with this. So I wanted to introduce 2 new friends to you. My Chief Judge, Deborah O'Gara, is here. She might have a couple of ticket stubs in her pocket, but it's really nice to have her here. And there is a home court home court favorite. We have Grace Singh in the house. We snagged her down in Southeast, but I know she's an interior lady through and through, and so it's really nice to see them here. So everyone, if you could just say hi. And we're looking forward to a lot of new good things. So like I said to you yesterday, I was overwhelmed, and I always get overwhelmed, but when we have this many leaders in one room, the Shekhinah, the divine presence, hovers above us. So that's a really nice meditation to keep in your mind. We're not alone right now, and we've got a lot of support. Also, if you don't mind, I loved the belly button exercise. Yesterday, I think all of us, we're going to go home and on our trip report, we're just going to be writing our trip report with our belly button. It's one way to put, per diem in my G-string over here. I'm sorry, Lisa. The coffee's too strong, people. But seriously, one of the things that I would like us to do is to do an exercise together, and that's to channel all of the people that we represent. If you can think back how many of your ancestors fought tooth and nail so that we'd be here right now, is amazing. But it gets better than that. Like I said yesterday, all of us are 24-hour-a-day moms and dads. So all of you bring, some of you actually brought, your children. And so if you weren't able to bring your children, I want you to think about them for a moment. So if you would, I close my eyes because I love people watching and it gets distracting. To think of some mentors in your life, some grandparents that have walked on, some ancestors if you can, and think about them. Bring their face into your mind. Pick some special people. Were you able to do that? And send them some light in your mind. And the cool part about life is, I say this to my kids, they can't stand it, that life is a mirror. And so if we are sending out light to others, guess what we're reflecting back to ourselves? And we need our ancestors' light. So send them a little blessing, and then ask them for a blessing in return. And then if you would, think of your children, and I do this every morning, and bring up each one of their beautiful faces and send them a little light. And ask for their blessing for your work. And then the best part is there's so many unborn souls in this room right now. And they're coming to join us. So if you can, send them some light. And ask for their blessing that this beautiful world, I love the blessing this morning that we heard, this beautiful world that we've been given as a gift, that we handed off to these unborn souls in a better place than the way we found it. In Yiddish, we call that Menschlichkeit. If you go camping at a campsite, leave it a little bit nicer than you found it. An extra roll of toilet paper in the outhouse, a little kindling, some sugar for their coffee, whatever it is, let's leave this place a little nicer than when we found it. Can we agree on that? Yes. Of course we can. With that said, we have to tackle a very difficult topic. I want to make sure I don't fall off the stage here and end up on epic fails. And I want you to join me. I don't say the word domestic violence anymore, okay? I had a teacher that said every word that comes out of our mouth, how did the Creator make the world? Well, none of us were totally sure. But the best script we have is called Bereshis, or Genesis. And the first sentence is, the Creator said, let there be light. Wait a minute. Did he stir a big spoon? Did he throw off some fireworks? No, he said. And don't miss that. The creative power of our words is infinite. And I know all of our traditions from Metlakatla through Kenaitze all the way up to Barrow. All of our traditions teach, be careful with your mouth. Obviously, I'm still working on that one. So, just the words we use has impact. And look what we call this phenomenon, domestic violence. Where people say, I've got a deadline. You know, maybe a due date is a better word for that. And so we at Central Council have passed a law that's called family safety. Let's talk about the good side of things. Let's not focus so much of our energy and attention on the negative side, the violence. All of us in here agree the violence is not acceptable. Like the story I told you about the old rabbi yesterday, about the parents coming 16 years too late for the 15-year-old. We've got to start with our prenatal care. Mamas can't have violence around them. The babies inside hear it. Oh my God, if we had a nickel judges. Every time we heard in a protection order case, the kids were in the other room. They didn't hear anything. Who you kidding? Any mom and dad knows a child is the biggest sponge in the world. If they walk into the room and see mama with tears, we all remember, I don't know if you remember, I remember seeing my mom cry, not necessarily from violence, but when you're a kid and you see tears on your mom, emblazoned in your brain. And I recommend the National Judicial College has a number of courses for us. And I go there like Grateful Dead concerts too, and it's in Reno. And one of them's domestic violence cases for tribal courts. Another one on our topic yesterday is tribal courts handling substance abuse cases. We can arm ourselves with the knowledge of what's going on up here. And our brains are the most amazing computers ever. Siri can never duplicate what the human mind can do, I hope. And we know that children who even hear domestic violence start to wire in different ways. So if we're going to make our communities whole and well, we need everyone in their right mind. And violence causes brain damage. It's not acceptable, and we are the front lines. We're in the trenches. We're army nurses. Take it back. As Professor Fortson and Natalie, by the way, obviously did not lose her bag. She is a genius. I really enjoyed your presentation. I learned a lot. It's inherent. What is a tribe? Let's pull the word apart. It's a collection of families. People ask me, well, what is Judaism? Is it a religion? Is it a philosophy? Is it an ethnicity? Is it a race? And I thought about it a long time, and I think the best answer is, it's a family. So organic to your governments is jurisdiction to have healthy families. Take it. Don't let anybody else do your job. They're your families. So the tribes that I work for have passed domestic violence laws. They're helpful, but your common sense judges, and we've got some folks down here on this table, I will shut up soon and hand it over to the real authorities, but your peeps have all the wisdom in the world about what a healthy family is, and we all know violence is not a family value. So we have our family safety statutes, and I am blessed to be a clinician, a triage nurse, when it comes into our court. Spread the word. If your courts are hearing domestic violence, family safety, I just violated my own rule. Family safety cases, get the word out to your health corporations. They're the ones in the emergency room, and for the health checkups for the children, have it on the wall with your telephone number. Get it out to your women's shelters. Each tribe that I work with has a connection with the women's shelters and the domestic violence advocates in your communities. You are an alternative venue. And you know what drove me crazy, pardon me, this is my personal pet peeve, when folks are battling tribes, don't you realize we need more doors, not less, for women and children to walk through? And don't forget, there are some men out there who are victims, okay? We just know it's 97%, women and children, but there are men. We need more doors, not less. And the truth is, family safety, family violence, sexual violence is embarrassing. Who the heck wants to go in and talk about what's going on in their bedroom? So we know that most of it's going untreated out of embarrassment. So if you can provide another place where a woman can feel safe, do it. And if you're not on the bus, get out of the way, is what I have to say. Was that a little too out of control, Natalie? Okay. I need her. She keeps me grounded.
Lead, follow, or get out of the way.
Right, lead, follow, or get out of the way. All right, what did I want to say? Very briefly, tribal laws can be more expansive than state laws. The tribes I work for define family violence to include emotional abuse, verbal abuse. Like I said, words can hurt, words can heal, but they can definitely hurt. Sometimes maybe worse than a black eye, because they go in the ear. Think about it. So protect your people the way that your customs and your traditions have always protected your people. And don't feel like you need to, it was only a matter of time, Judge Mills, before I start doing the robot. I do that, my kids are like, oh my God, don't. You don't need to look and act like a robot. Make it relevant to your people. It's not bad if the face page looks like something that folks recognize, police people. Like I said, in the past, my mentor David Case gave me a piece of wisdom, because I get very frothy. He actually has to wipe my chin. And he says, David, Lord, calm down. Do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? And that's a good question. And so when it comes to women and children, we want to be happy. So if you need to make the front page look like something a copper recognizes, do so. You don't want a moment's delay. But make your laws real to you and your people. You've been protecting, as our people said, since time immemorial, which means a heck of a long time. Lastly, sometimes the domestic violence process can be mishandled. And sometimes courts, God forbid, could be used as a tool, both by the perpetrator or the respondent, or the victim. So we need to manage our courtrooms carefully. We're working on safety at the Central Council, and all of you to have that in mind, safety first. Judges and lawyers and all those people second. But one of the areas where we can be pulled in a little faster than I feel comfortable, and I'm a little slow, is in the area of custody and visitation. So one of the areas, especially when children are present, that a judge will need to make a snap decision for, or a counsel or you, is custody. That's fine. You need to do that. But then my best practice tip would be to have another hearing later about just the children, so that you can really find out more about who they are and what their best interests are. I think a domestic violence protection order hearing is a piss poor place to decide what's best for the children. You got to go there, you got to put on the gauze and put on the bandage, and then bring them back for another appointment. So with that, I would love to turn it over to my compatriots over here. And again, thank you so much for being here and doing the work that you do. I like to say it's the toughest job in show business. And so you have my blessings. I'll give you a blessing as a present before I go, okay? So this is an old one. And it's the best present I could give anyone, so I'm going to give it to you. First in my language, and then for Renee I'll translate. I know the rest of you know it. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmarecha. May our good Lord bless all of you and your families and keep you safe. Ya'er Adonai pano ve'elecha v'chuneka. May our good Creator shine His face upon us and be gracious to you and your families. Yisa Adonai panav elecha vayasem lecha shalom. And may our good Creator turn towards all of us, our families, and the world, and grant us the sweetest of all blessings, peace. Amen. Thank you.